Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Brain Bean here again, and in today's video, it's the Battle of the Minis.
Nerd!
Nerd? Like that's supposed to hurt me? I make videos about keyboards and mice. These minis. The Razer Huntsman Mini and the Corsair K65 Mini. So with that, let's just get into it. Taking a look at both of these keyboards, they're both 60% keyboards, and if you look at them, the footprint is pretty much identical between the two. The Huntsman Mini is available in black and white, while the Corsair K65 Mini is only available in black. The Huntsman Mini uses an exposed switch design with a matte finished metal top plate over a plastic case. It's a little bit lighter than the K65 Mini in terms of weight, but the feeling of quality is much better with the Huntsman Mini. Despite being the heavier board, the K65 Mini just feels more plasticky. Now, I suppose if we were to look at them just based on build quality, they're going to come out pretty similar, except when we start to take other things into account that add to the feeling of quality, the K65 Mini really starts to fall short. Both keyboards have removable USB-C cables. The Huntsman Mini is the only one with extendable legs. Now, both of these keyboards do have full RGB capability. I'm sure by now most of you are going to be familiar with Corsair's Q or Razer Synapse, so I'm not really going to touch into the capabilities of those too much. If you want full in-depth reviews on either of these keyboards, I will have those linked for you down in the description. In terms of raw lighting performance, the Huntsman Mini largely depends on which color you pick. If you go with the white version, you'll have a lot more light reflecting under the keys for that white top plate, giving you the more overall ambient look to the lighting. The black version won't reflect nearly as much light around underneath the keys, but the characters will still be nice and bright and vibrant. And the Huntsman Mini can save up to 6 profiles directly on the keyboard. The lighting on the K65 Mini looks a little bit better in my opinion. I think the colors are more saturated, and the white plate under the switches really reflects a lot of light up at the user. And as an added plus, I always like seeing 3 LEDs under spacebars to really fully illuminate any custom spacebar you may have, just like the one that Corsair includes with this keyboard. If we look at the shine through on the keycaps, Razer's newer PBT keycaps have this sort of fuzziness to the characters when the light shines through them that makes them look a little bit more toned down, a little bit muddy. When you look at it next to the K65, it's really obvious as Corsairs have a much sharper look to the characters with a lot more light coming through. Corsair's board also has their Axon processor, which allows for up to 8,000 Hz polling rate, and you can save up to 20 layered lighting profiles on the K65 Mini. Both of these boards come stock with PBT keycaps, and as an added plus, they both do come with standard layouts, so you could easily find aftermarket keycaps for these if you want to. And because both of these are 60% keyboards, you're going to see the side printed functions on the keycaps as well, as both of these boards use function layers to give you full-size keyboard functionality. I like the clean look of the font of Razer's keycaps a little bit more than Corsair's, and while Corsair has gotten better from their original really bold gamery font, I think it still is a little bit too stylized for my taste. I don't really personally like the look of the font on this keyboard too much. Unfortunately, the trouble really doesn't stop there for the K65 Mini. This case has a lot of empty space inside of it, so when you type, there's a noticeable hollowness to it. It doesn't feel solid at all, and it really betrays the feeling of this keyboard. I've typed on keyboards that cost half as much money that feel way more solid. The stabilizers on the K65 Mini are okay. They're not terrible, and the spacebar actually has pretty decent stabilizers. Definitely loads better than any other Corsair keyboard's spacebar. Looking at switches, the K65 Mini is only available in 2 different linear mechanical switches, Cherry MX Speeds or Cherry MX Reds. This is frustrating for me as I don't like linear switches personally, so I think if you're going to have 2 switch options on a keyboard, you might as well at least make them 2 different types of switch instead of just a small difference between actuation distance. Now, maybe I'm the minority here. I know that Corsair says that they just made what they think is the most popular, and judging by a recent poll I did on my channel, you guys did say that over 50% of you like linear switches best, but I still feel like that's not great business sense as they're not catering to half the market with their switch choices. But I think when we look at switches, Razer has the clear advantage. The Huntsman Mini uses optical switches, so they're going to last longer and have faster response times. It comes in 2 different types. They're clicky purple switches or the linear red switches. The red versions on this board also have built-in acoustic dampeners that make them ultra quiet and have a soft cushion at bottom out, and these are really nice. These switches also come factory lubed, which just adds to the smoothness of these switches. I think Razer's optical switches are the best gaming-centric switches on the market right now. They seriously are really good. And I would say the stabilizers on the Huntsman Mini are a little bit better, but the space bars are about the same. And for your listening pleasure, here is a quick sound test between the Huntsman Mini with the linear red switches and the K65 Mini with Cherry MX Speeds. So what are we looking at here? The K65 Mini is 110 bucks, and the Huntsman Mini is a little bit more, with the clicky switch version coming in at 120 bucks and the linears being 130. That being said, at this price, I don't think the K65 Mini is worth the money at all. It feels really cheap to use, and I felt OEM cheap plastic keyboards that cost 50 bucks feel way better than this thing does. It's got those cheap PBT keycaps, just the hollow feeling of the body, and really the only thing that sets it apart is the Axon processor and the Corsair IQ functionality, which in my opinion is just not enough to justify this keyboard. When we look at the Huntsman Mini, it's just such a big difference. I mean, we've got the switch advantage with the higher quality optical switches, we've got better quality PBT keycaps, a more solid build to the keyboard in general, and even though the saturation on the lighting isn't quite as good as Corsair's, it's such a minimal difference that I really don't think that's worth changing your choice just based on that one thing. Anyways, guys, that's it for the video. Let me know which one of these two keyboards you think is the best, or maybe you disagree with me down in the comments below. I've also got full-length reviews on either of these keyboards down in the description for you if you want to check them out in a little bit more detail. And of course, if you made it this far into the video, I'd love to see you subscribe. I've got lots more videos like this coming for you in the near future. You can follow me on Twitter at BrainBeanGaming, but as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe out there, take care of each other, and I will see you in the next one.